All right. Are you ready to go?
Yes. I am ready to go. Ready. Should pronounce in English properly.
English words are difficult to pronounce.
Yes.
All right. Sup Nerds, and welcome to Powerful, the Power Metal Podcast, the show with powerful metal and just the most powerful couple of dudes you're ever going to meet in your whole friggin' life.
Yeah.
My name is Kyle. I'll be your host as always, joined by the illustrious Fernando.
Hello, everyone. How's it going? How's it going, Kyle?
I'm doing good. It's the weekend. We're recording. We got plenty of power metal to talk about. You know how at the end of the last episode, I was like, yeah, I don't think there's much coming out at the very start of the year. Turns out I was wrong.
So
it happens.
So
We've got some
wrong.
good stuff to go through, and I'm excited to get into it as we do the first, quote unquote, real episode of 2025.
We finally start the year on February. It's still valid. It counts. We're barely into 2025. It feels like an eternity already, though, to be honest. I'm not sure why.
Tell me about it.
But it's not that nice. But we're here and we have plenty of music to drive us through and take us to the end of the tunnel, hopefully.
All right, well, let's hop on that train, shall we? That's Power Train.
The
Shall
Power
we say?
Train.
Yes. The band Majestica has released a new album called Power Train. The band headed up by Tommy Johansson, most known for his time with Sabaton, who we kicked to the curb. Fuck those guys and their successfulness. And also his YouTube channel. Man, that guy's prolific. He makes a cover every week without fail.
Yeah.
For years.
Yes.
It's impressive.
He's one of those. One of the
He's one of those
YouTube
guys.
powerhouses that have I don't know how they do it. They just can commit and release so frequently. But it's very impressive.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to a new release from Majestica. They're the formerly Rain Zed, but then relaunched as Majestica. I really like their quote-unquote debut album from a few years back. The Christmas album over COVID, low-key pretty good. I put on a ton every Christmas.
I think everyone absolutely adores that album, be it even outside of Christmas time. It's surprising to see so much love for a Christmas album, honestly.
Yeah, instead of having just the one Christmas song that a band does, they went all the way in on the full Christmas Carol adaptation. It's that one and the Muppets. It's all you need.
Yeah.
But let's chugga choo choo onto the new album Power Train. I've been looking forward to this, and overall, I think I'm pretty happy with it. It falls into a nice slot of modern-ish Euro power metal, but not losing itself into some dumb, silly gimmick. It's still overall a fast, uplifting power metal, mixing together the guitars and keys in a healthy way. How have you been feeling about this one?
I enjoyed it a bit more than I expected. And that reveals that I'm not that much of a fan of Majestica. Honestly, I do have one issue that is on this album as well. And maybe more so in this album than the previous one. I don't like the sound of the vocals overlaid with synths. And it's just a style of sound that I know a lot of bands do. But I think that, to me, personally, Majestica overdoes it. I cannot tell. I can hear the notes, but I cannot hear the voice of Mr. Tommy Johansson.
Well, specifically when it's mixed with the keyboards, or
no, it's throughout all the time. That's the thing. The sound that the voice has in the production of everything, I don't hear a voice first. I don't hear a vocalist first. I hear like the notes as if it was played on a keyboard first. So it feels a bit cold and detached from me. But that's my personal experience with it. Besides
That's
that,
very specific.
I don't think it's as specific as you think. I feel that there must be people that feel that way. But besides that, it's pretty cool. EUPM with the twinkles and all of that.
Of course.
I think you will not be surprised that I also probably like the songs that feel the fastest.
Generally speaking. Can you guess what my least favorite song on this album is?
Your least favorite song?
I feel like it should be obvious if you paid attention.
I cannot tell you that I pay attention to the name of the songs while listening to the album, because I am not like that. I just listen to the whole thing and I'm not looking at the screen. But I think I know what you mean.
So both this album and the previous album, or not the first album, not the Christmas album, had a song where I feel like they just turned into a different band.
Mm.
On the first album, it was the song "Night Call Girl," where it was like this slow, almost like more like radio friendly song, and it's one of the more popular songs. Fuck me, I guess. And on this album, it's the song "Mega True."
Yeah,
which I swear is just like a Sabaton song.
Yes,
it even does the like dun-na-nut thing that Sabaton is obsessed with.
Yeah, I gotta say that turned me off a lot too. I was not really engaged until is it Thunder Power when he gets fast, or A Story in the Night?
A Story in the Night, I think, is fastest.
Yeah, it's probably Story in the Night when I actually went like, oh, I'm paying attention for real now. But all the first 4 songs, yeah, including that one that makes sense, Mega True, I was like not engaged. It's not my thing.
I feel like they kind of float between different modern-ish styles on some of this. Like, No Pain, No Gain kind of gave me like Glory Hammer vibes. Epic Dragon kind of gave me Twilight Force vibes. We mentioned Mega True being Sabaton-y, even though I think the lyrics are like Hammerfall references or something. I think Story in the Night was a bit more of like feeling they're more like their own style. I also was I'm into Victorious. I think that was one of the catchier songs I have, and it kind of ends in this nice little like crowd sing-along moment, and also cracking a beer or something.
Yeah,
which is silly, but I think but it works.
I think it works.
I think
that works. I think that's good. I actually like all those final 4 songs. I think they were pretty cool. Maybe not the last one so much. Alliance Anthem felt a bit overlong. But yeah,
like for being like the quote unquote one of the longer songs in the album, it's only 6 minutes.
Like some songs here are so short, but I didn't feel like they felt short, which is a new thing. Like because I see more bands on this style that do shorter and shorter songs, and usually they feel short. Like you could have other repeat there. Or they feel longer than they are because they are just loops of choruses. And it's like, okay, it's the 5th time the chorus has happened. And it's only 3 minutes long, but it feels like 6.
And even every time the chorus comes, they do it twice anyway.
Yeah. But here it felt kind of like, I didn't mind. I didn't think, oh, this song is so short, this song is so long at all. But I did feel like overall listening to the full album, probably because I wasn't that engaged with the first half, that there was a bit too much going on, that we could trim some things. But looking at the actual run times, it's like, oh, it's pretty lean actually.
10 songs of varying lengths, but mostly shorter.
Or the shortest. There's enough. Like there's 2 3-minute songs. That's not that didn't used to be normal at all on power metal of any kind. But now it's something that we see more. And the long song, 6:15, it's not the long song, it's just the final one.
Yeah, well, we can't all be old style Dragon Force now, can we?
No. We can try.
We can try. Maybe
we'll
should.
forever try. I'll keep trying.
We'll forever chase that dragon.
Yeah. So I'd say personally, it's not my favorite album that I heard this month. It's not for me either, and I knew that. But it's well done. It's pretty good, and I know that a lot of people are fans, and you should enjoy it a lot. And I think fans of Majestica will love it. I'm
generally a fan of Tommy and Majestica, so I'm satisfied with this album. I don't think I love it as much as I overall wanted to, but I have listened to it quite a bit and enjoyed it. So we'll give it a pretty good out of 10.
Pretty good out of 10. That's the review. That's the way you do it, people. This is peak journalism.
Well, I don't want you to get too lost as we discuss Labyrinth. Okay.
I was wondering how you were going to do that because I couldn't come up with anything.
I can always do it.
So good at this.
I worked in sales, Fernando.
Yeah, that's the difference here. Oh my God. Labyrinth, the legendary band, classic Italian power metal, the stuff that I like and love.
I didn't even know they had an album coming out until like it was already here, and I'm like, oh shit, okay.
Yes, the same. I saw someone share a song, and suddenly it's like, this album has been out for like a week, and I had no idea, and I feel so bad about it.
In the Vanishing Echoes of Goodbye, the name of Labyrinth's new album.
That's such a weird title.
It's kind of ominous, and like their Labyrinth logo is like fading away. This isn't like a last album, is it?
I don't think so. If it was, they would have used that fact to sell it. Like, I am jaded enough to recognize that you could do
Maybe
that.
Maybe just because they're old.
Maybe. I honestly don't know. I didn't even read the title of the album till right before we started recording. I just listened to it. I am the worst at these people. Text is not my thing. I just listen to the music.
You just feel it. So tell me, how did you feel about this album, Fernando?
I like it a lot. Much more than Majestica.
Interesting. All right.
I actually enjoyed it a lot. It's a slightly longer album at almost an hour. Which again is getting rarer now because most albums are aiming at 40 minutes or less. And this is 57 something.
Kids these days don't got no attention spans there, Fernando.
Exactly. I guess. I don't know. I don't know if it's exactly that, but probably. But I enjoyed it. I was happy that it didn't have a skippable intro because I feared it would have a skippable intro track. And it has a sort of intro, but it's not like the obnoxious 2.5 minutes thing. I think it's what Labyrinth has been sounding like, I think, if you listen to their previous albums. And if you like classic power metal, you'll like it. If you don't, if you come just for the Majesticas, Glory Hammers, and that kind of thing, this might not be your thing.
Yeah, I don't think this would resonate quite so much.
But for the old people in the crowd, and by all I mean like 30 plus, I recommend it. I actually really enjoyed it, and it's the kind of album that I probably have some of the songs on my general rotation just for listening. Maybe it's like not the most engaging, active listening full album thing, but it's the style of music that if you like classic power metal, this goes in there. This goes in the mix.
Yeah, so for me, I was kind of mixed on this album. It has a few songs that I think are really great. I loved Accept the Changes, At the Rainbow's End, The Right Side of the World, and Heading for Nowhere. But like in between those songs, and especially the last few, it felt to me like there was a lot of filler. Like you mentioned this being a long album.
Yes.
And it feels long.
There is some filler.
And there's a lot of songs where I just kind of check out. And I'm just like, oh man, it's still going? Okay.
Yes, I agree. I agree with that.
Like when it gets going, it's really good.
Yes, but it
But
does have. It's
it's
not
not
as
always
lean.
there.
Yeah, it's not as lean.
It is an inconsistent album for sure.
Yes, it has more. Again, it's sort of like I mentioned. It has more playlist material songs than sitting to listen to a full album songs, for sure. Those songs that you mentioned are pretty cool. I don't. Yeah, I think I agree with the ones that you mentioned because Heading for Nowhere is very cool.
I like the melody on the right side of the world.
Yes,
Which I think that song is their top one on Spotify, right? Yeah, it is. So that one, people are good taste sometimes on Spotify. Sometimes
that's sure. That just means that it matches what you thought. We know that.
Exactly.
We all know that it's good taste if it matches Kyle's perception.
Well, I'm the one with a podcast, so
You are the one with the podcast. You are the one that listens
which
to the
definitely
albums.
is validating to myself.
Of course.
I think the most jarring part of this album is that towards the end of the last track, Inhuman Race, where it turns into like a news report about the Ukraine war.
Oh yes, I completely
catches me
blocked that.
So off guard,
But it did,
every time.
yes, it did catch me off guard. I completely blocked it because last time I listened to it, it's been a couple of days and I listened to a lot of other albums. But you're right, they use those samples for that, and it's a bit too close, maybe, and it really made me like, whoa, what's going on? What the channels crossed, and
Yeah, because to be fair, I haven't paid any attention to any of the lyrics on like anywhere on this album. I'm just vibing. But to go from that into a very real and pressing issue in our world, which I know, hey, they're happy with them to make an artistic statement, but also when you're just vibing out, it does kind of come out of nowhere. Which maybe that's the point, or maybe it's not.
But
I don't know.
That has to be done.
Fair warning there,
because music is not just escapism. It's also communicating reality.
Of course, yeah.
And this is something. If we can take a tangent, one of our famous tangents.
We love tangents on this show. I can get political. Ooh, spicy.
I don't think I'm gonna get political, but I remember that we had to talk about this one time, maybe a couple of years ago now. A lot of the power metal audience in the English-speaking world, let's call it, and some of Europe, it's very much has very much been cemented in the last maybe 5 to 10 years. Like, oh, power metal is just fun, fantasy, escapism, and just vibes and all that.
I feel like it's been like that for decades, hasn't it?
But on the, I don't want to generalize. I don't know. I'm only going to generalize to as much as I've seen. That's why I just said that. Maybe it's been more. You would know more. While on the Spanish-speaking world, and based on this, maybe some of the Italian bands, social and political commentary has been a part of power metal as much as of any other subgenre of metal, always, and keeps being to this day. And I've seen a couple moments online when these two communities clash, and you see people, maybe mostly from Latin America, bringing in, trying to talk about a song or a piece of music or an album, and analyzing what commentary it has on political issues or social issues or current events, while the mostly English-speaking world, not just native English speaker, but the people that speak English as a second language that don't come from this side of the equator, maybe, are like aggressively, no, get that out of my fun wizards. And that creating friction, which I don't think should be like that. People should accept that any style, any kind of art, even when it's purely for entertainment, can have some kind of analysis done to it that carries a message.
Yeah, and you see that kind of discourse, I think, with every artistic medium of like, oh, get your politics out of my video games or movies or whatever, and it's like even something that's always been political one way or another. I think with power metal, like the more like explicitly political stuff, I tend to see coming from like the really small like independent Bandcamp folks as opposed to more mainstream artists. So there's probably a bit more of a divide there, but that's just from my limited perspective.
I think some of the clashes that I've seen are from people that tried to say, hey, Rhapsody, when they were doing this thing, this is an allegory to this and that. And people on the other side get angry that you're even considering that as a possibility. And it's not like Rhapsody came out saying, oh, we meant this and that. That doesn't even come into the argument. So it's a bit of a weird feel like did it catch me off guard that Labyrinth had those samples talking about the war?
Yeah, it kind of
did.
It forced, you can't ignore it.
You can't ignore it because
maybe that's the point.
Yeah, it's used in a way that you pay attention to it. It's not subtle. And you shouldn't think that that's a bad thing because they're using that in power metal, and you cannot do that. Like you can, and a lot of fans probably do, and maybe you just don't get that, and that's fine. But I don't want people to get angry about it.
I really want to point out that the last time we brought up Labyrinth on the podcast, we were talking about being caught off guard by Dinosaur P.
Dinosaur P.
And now we're being caught off guard by war footage or news reports.
And it's just in a way that
what a time to be alive, my friends.
Labyrinth are actually making us think. This is why it's good to keep listening to some of the classic bands.
Fernando, I told us not to get lost in Labyrinth. I feel like we really have.
we really are. Can we get out of the Labyrinth? How do we do that? It's like
we're gonna get out of the Labyrinth and then get stuck in a time loop. No. Because next up we're talking about Toying with Time, the new album by Master Sword.
Master Sword. Man. I listened to this album that you mentioned. I took it as a personal recommendation, even though it was not. It made me think of you because it's called Master Sword.
See, I have an awkward relationship with this band, and that, judging by the name, yes, it's a Zelda-themed band. And some might say I am a fan of Zelda. And so you think, oh man, I should love this band. But in the past, their stuff hadn't totally worked for me. Something was always off about the production or the songwriting where it never quite clicked. It's cool if it's Zelda themed, but nothing had really fully drawn me in with them. So I thought this band was dead. I had seen something about them going on an indefinite hiatus. Turns out they had one more album that they wanted to wrap up and get out into the world before then. So their final-ish, maybe probably album, Toying with Time, is out, and it's based on Majora's Mask. Fernando, do you know anything about Majora's Mask?
There's a moon.
There is a moon. That is correct.
And I assume it's a time loop of some sort.
Because I just said that?
Yes.
Okay, so it's Majora's Mask is about you're in this town with a giant creepy moon above it that a demon mask has taken over a little child, and it's causing the moon to crash into the town in 3 days. And so you're constantly rewinding time as you go and do quests and stuff around the land. And it's known for being one of the darker, more melancholic kind of out there Zelda games.
Yeah.
And I think that atmosphere, which people really love about that game because it is so unique within the Zelda, we'll say canon, not from a story perspective, but from a classical perspective. I think Majora's Mask is a very evocative setting to just draw inspiration from for art in general. I think that really shines through here because I think this is far and away Master Sword's best work that I've heard. I think the production's stronger, the songwriting is much stronger, performances are great, and this is leaning more on the proggy side of at least of the albums we're talking about today. I think prog power album is probably the most accurate genre descriptor, where you're getting some of that creepy Majora's Mask-y atmosphere coming through but also blending it with some weird prog stuff and some more straightforward power metal tossed in there too. So I'm very happy that I finally have something to really latch onto with these guys. I've listened to this album a lot recently.
Nice.
So you, as a non-Zelda guy, how did you feel about this?
So I had no idea that it was
About
actually about a Zelda thing. I assumed that just the name was a Zelda thing because I know of the Master Sword. I've only played...
it's a whole concept album about this game.
I've only played the Switch games. So everyone knows.
I think you did Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, right?
Yes, I did both of those. I have like 250 hours on Tears of the Kingdom, I think.
Jesus.
Yeah, remember that? It was a fun time.
Yeah, I do.
It was maybe not as fun, but it was fun in some aspects. I listened to this. I saw your label of it as prog power. I don't think I agree with that label.
Oh, really?
On how to recommend it to people. Because it made me think more of like, it is proggy, obviously. You can tell that from the intro. I assume the intro was just based on some Zelda theme because of the way it sounded. The intro to The Salesman, to the first song. But then I got overall across the album more vibes of symphonic metal, like what you think when you hear symphonic metal. Like once I have maybe some more melody things going on more than power metal, and especially with the two voices coming in and out.
It's predominantly female vocals, but they bring in a guy every now and then.
Yes. I really like the guy in one of the songs, and I didn't write down which one it was. I'm the worst.
I think he's most prominent on My Last Breath.
On My Last Breath, yes. Number 5. Yeah, My Last Breath.
I do want to bring that song up because it is like the quote-unquote ballad of the album.
That's not a ballad. Come on.
It's the slow song of the album with the piano and shit.
It's not even really slow. It's just quiet. Don't
close
be
enough.
like that. It's
close
a song.
enough. You know what you know what I mean. You know what I mean.
I don't like the ballad hate.
Well, I'm not. Well, okay. Hey.
And the ballad stereotyping.
This is one of my favorite songs on the album.
Okay. We're good.
I was gonna say one of the most impressive parts of this album is the slow song. I thought was very good, which is, you know me, fast is good. So what the hell happened here? I thought the
good song,
the blending of the it's just make it good. Come on, guys. It's easy. But anyway, to expand on that, I did really like the blending of the male and female vocals that played off each other really well. I loved how the song really builds in intensity throughout it. Especially towards the end, it gets very dramatic, and I think the emotions really come through. And if I could go into Zelda nerd stuff here, I wasn't really thinking about what they were singing about specifically at first, but then on one of my re-listens, I'm like, oh wait, it's a guy and a girl waiting for each other with Majora's Mask. I'm like, oh shit, is this about Anju and Kafei? Now you know about Anju and Kafei, Fernando. It's
sure
the biggest, craziest side quest in all of Zelda games.
Yeah, just below Mario and Luigi, of course.
Exactly. So, for context, I guess I actually checked on their Bandcamp. They have an info section for each song saying what each one's about. And I was right. This one is about Anju and Kafei. So, good job, me.
Nice.
Hopefully that clap doesn't peak my mic too bad. But for a little bit of context, so you know how I mentioned it's you got 3 days before the moon crashes into the world. So one of the things you do in Majora's Mask is you help out all the villagers with whatever problem they have, but then you always undo it by playing the Song of Time and whatever, yada yada. So the most involved quest there is about these two lovers, Anju and Kafei, who are supposed to get married, but the guy Kafei, is missing, and you have to go and try and find him. Turns out he got cursed, and then his mask that's going to be part of the wedding got stolen. So you go on this whole extremely elaborate quest to figure this all out and find it. And then if you do everything right, you eventually reunite the two, and they basically get married with an hour before the moon of in-game time, before the moon crashes into the planet. And it's this very intense, very touching scene. And I'm like, oh shit, they brought that and made it into a song here. That is really nice. I love that.
Nice.
So good on them.
Nice. It's very nice when you see something like this that because when you hear like, oh, a band made concept album about video game story, it could be very flimsy. And it's nice when you can tell, oh, they actually care about it and they are conveying the proper feelings, even though you cannot do like a straight up adaptation when you go to music.
Yeah, like I picked a bunch of space, like the style of the song, and then like a couple of like the repeated lines kind of tipped me off as to what the song was, and so I think just that on its own is capturing it well. If I can be a real nerd about this album,
you can.
So in Majora's Mask, there's like 4 main like quest areas you go off into at north, south, east, and west, and they only have songs about 2 of those. It makes me feel like if they had more time, they would have done the other 2. But they didn't, which I only noticed after I looked up what each song was about. So it doesn't really matter, but I see you. And I do wonder if like that's like I don't know, like, oh man, if we had like more time to do a bigger album, we would have included more stuff. Because they include a lot of like character specific or like introductory stuff. But then they only cover like 2 of the like main quest areas outside of that, of the 4, which I thought was almost makes it feel incomplete as like a full encompassing concept album, but that's maybe a bit much. It's an hour-long album as it is. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah,
I'll give him a pass.
Yeah, I want to say from my non-concept understanding brain, I really like those vocals. The male vocals, guest vocals by Professor Shy Guy on that song. Very nice. My Last Breath. I my favorite track was the closer, Child of the Night. I really, really liked it. Like all of it. The music, the riffs, the proggy beats. It's not as proggy, but it's very cool. I really like the sound that they have going on. I think that final song had the best of everything that they showed on the album. And then there's a couple of very cool moments. Toying with Time was also cool.
Toying with Time, I think, is one of the more straightforward-ish songs. So if you're you're listening to this podcast, you're a power metal guy, check out Toying with Time. Just the title track is pretty good. Another like little detail I mentioned about this album, they do incorporate like melodies or music from the Zelda games here and there. Not a ton, just a little bit. I think they showed some good restraint with that, but Shadows of the Mind uses like the Song of Healing melody quite a bit, and I thought that was nice.
Cool.
Like the do 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 do, like that one.
Nice.
I can't really sing, but just imagine I did that well.
You probably can. You're just not committing. Anyways.
Well, now we're going to psychoanalyze me, not get the fuck out.
No, it's just a normal thing. A lot of people that say, oh, I cannot sing. They are just not even trying. You can do it.
You want to see me try? You can look up me at karaoke. It's not any better there, bud.
We're going to do that. That's going to be fun. I cannot wait.
We've done karaoke several times.
Yeah, but we're going to do it again. I'm looking forward to it
again. I am too.
It's going to be great. Absolutely great.
That it is. I hope you enjoy your karaoke duties of sound mixing.
I hope they fix the cable that was missing last time.
I assure you they did not.
I will show up with my own cable just to patch it properly.
Yeah, when we go to Denmark and go to the one private karaoke room in all of Copenhagen, and you bring your own microphone cables to fix their janky setup in a fucking barn behind the burger place.
It's a good place. It's a good place. We have our reservation.
Look forward to Epic Fest episode coming in a couple months, boys.
Maybe like next year. Yeah, look, Epic Fest is gonna be Epic Fest again. I don't want to say it's gonna be epic. It sounds so stupid.
I think for the episode time for that, we should just make it like somehow even more epic. Something really stupid like that.
Double the epic. Epic 2. the epic ending.
Too epic.
Too epic. Too epic. Too fest. That's it.
Even though it's like
that's the title.
I think it's actually like the third fest.
It's the second one, but that's the title. It's gonna be Too Epic. Too Fest. Comment now. Too epic. Too fest.
Vote for your favorite bad idea in the comments. But anyway, yes, Master Sword, Toying with Time. Really love this album.
For fans
not
of
biased at all. For fans of good music.
For fans of Zelda. For fans
and
of
Zelda. For fans
symphonic
of Zelda,
metal.
300.
For fans of 354 other fans.
Yeah, that's it. That's all there are.
That's all there are.
All right. Well, let's move on from a princess and onto a queen. The Queen of Dreams, that is.
The Queen of Dreams. I'm going to start saying I did not listen to this album. I'm sorry. I didn't have time. My skill has been really bad. So send it to me, Kyle.
I quite like this album. So for context, Queen of Dreams is a power metal band from this mysterious little land known as Madison, Wisconsin.
Oh.
Yep, they were, I think, a fill-in band at Mad with Power a few years ago. And I thought, oh, hey, these guys are pretty good. And so they only had one album out at the time, which I think production-wise was a little rough. But they had some decent songwriting in there, and I thought they had potential. So I'm like, all right, we'll keep an eye on these guys. Well, their second album called Subnivium is out, and I think I was right. They improved quite a bit production-wise, and I'm enjoying these songs. I think this is definitely one that you should check out.
Nice. We get a true recommendation from Kyle.
All my recommendations are true.
You're right. I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm going to listen to it. I just didn't. I really couldn't make it, and we need to record today for reasons.
Yes,
but I'm gonna get to it. What are some standout songs?
So I think the one of the big singles to this is Radiant. As you know, bear with me on this. Power metal band, songs based on fantasy books.
Oh. How I sing that.
Did I lose you? Are you still with me?
Oh, okay. I know now. I know what Radiant is. I get it. I get it, right?
Do you know what it? Tell me what it means.
That's the Stormlight stuff.
Yes.
I get it now.
Yes, you did a thing. you have a song about the same exact thing.
I put two and two together.
The same guy.
We say that word a lot, so yeah, I had to be.
Oh man, yeah. So the first song, Radiant, is about Stormlight Archive. I just finished Wind and Truth. Shout out to me. That's a long fucking book. Yeah, so I think that's a fun one to get into. I think when I pulled up like the lyrics for some of the other songs, and the one at the end called "End of the Road." Wow, it's a bunch of Tolkien deep nerd shit. So have at it. Nice. Yeah, I thought this, like I said, big step up in production quality. Where like first one, a little rough. This one actually sounds like a real band. So I'm happy that they improved there.
That's great.
And plus, these songs are generally pretty fast, generally very melodic, while integrating like the keyboards. It's predominantly female vocals. There's they mix in a bit of other harshes and stuff here and there. But overall, a very fun album to listen to.
Cool.
And what's wild is just having something like this coming from like an American band. I feel like it's starting to be. We're trying to creep in there. Like,
nice.
I know this is drum. We call it Euro power metal.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, we can do this shit too. And I'm glad to see Queen of Dreams really picking up the mantle there.
Nice. I'm gonna check it out. It's cool to see another band from Wisconsin.
Yeah,
this is so cool.
Yeah, like I'm pretty sure they're gonna be buddies with Ty and the Metal Power gang, because of course they are.
Of course, it would be hard not to, probably. I assume they were probably there when we were at Mad with Power.
Probably.
And we didn't even know.
I mean, you weren't there the year they performed, but
No,
but
but
they
if
put on a good show.
they live there and there's a power metal festival happening that basically paralyzes half the town, they probably were around, don't you think? Maybe I'm exaggerating, but it felt like pretty.
Well, with how hard you have to work to get there, and how easy they would theoretically have it.
Maybe
one
they
would
don't.
hope.
Yeah, maybe they don't even care. Right? It's like when I lived for all of primary school across the street of my school, and I wasn't on time a single day. I was always late.
Until you get complacent.
Every single
big
day.
deal.
Yeah, it's just across the street. Every single day I was late for all primary school. Incredible.
I always just had my parents drive me, so
It's just one Mr. Not living in a city.
Mr. American, yeah.
You know what's not? I don't want to say it is American. It's just not your kind of American.
Yeah, it's not you people.
Yeah. Oh, but anyway.
Well, so you know how we use this podcast to pull the strings of all the power metal world?
Yes.
And one of the ways we do that is through promoting our friends.
Exactly.
So tell us about this next album, Fernando.
So, Willian Amorim is releasing an EP, which is like a shorter album. I'm told by people. I would just call it an album. The Elven Curse.
Standing for extended, right?
Yeah, because the name comes from the physical medium of extended play.
Yeah.
I could rant about it for an hour. We don't want that. We just want power metal. So this is coming out.
So tell us about the power metal.
This is releasing on February 28th, which is probably, this episode should be out by then, or it's now. And you should go check out this album, EP thing. Willian Amorim is a great drummer from Brazil. He's a friend of ours, a friend of mine. He's a drummer for Eons and Throne. And he works with a lot of people. He actually, during 2024, he was saying yes to basically anything. He wanted to record as many albums and songs as he could in 1 year, which is pretty crazy. And he actually did it. He's in a ton of releases. This is a thing that he has recorded. He has written all the music for this, except for one song. And he has guest musicians and guest vocalists for each of the songs. There's 5 of them. On the first one, we have our other friend, Sosos, Michael. If you don't know them as the Jansen from vocalist, maybe you know him as the Glory Hammer vocalist. So that should be reason enough for you to go check this out.
Yeah, he's on the song Hellfire,
which is just start. But I gotta say, as much as I love you, Willian, but you put an intro in your EP.
Yeah, I was gonna. As soon as I saw this
track.
album had a useless intro track, I'm like, "Come on, Fernando, you gotta stop you gotta sit your friends down.
I cannot
have a serious conversation, okay?
I cannot. It breaks my heart to say this, but I cannot approve of that.
I was surprised you let him do this.
I skip it. He can do whatever he wants. That's fine. But I don't like it.
Your friends have the freedom to make the incorrect choices.
Yes. But if you jump straight to Hellfire.
But if you jump to Hellfire.
It's a hell of a song.
That's a correct choice because it's a great song, yeah.
It's actually a great song. Like, it's classic power metal. One thing that you probably notice immediately and across the album, if you like Angra, you will absolutely love this.
Brazilian power metal, try not to be overly influenced by Angra, challenge impossible.
It's not just that. Like, Willian actually took classes with Achilles Priester. So he's from that general school of all he's playing. You can hear it on Eon's releases and on the other things that he's done. He has that style. And it really shines through on this album. Hellfire is an amazing track. Great power metal thing. Wishing Light.
It's like if Sosos was singing an Angra song.
Yes, exactly. So it's perfect. Cool. It's perfect. It's made the pair made in heaven. And the rest of the band is also cool. So on each of the songs, the bands are different people. Everyone is top tier. On the second song,
I didn't recognize, I don't think, any of the other musicians.
It would be hard to recognize anyone, I think.
Is it mostly Brazilian folks?
I think most of them are Brazilian folks. So maybe the Latin American crowd, some people might know them. I think the most, at least for the people that listen to this podcast, the person that you will recognize is Osos, for sure. But everyone else is really good. All the other vocalists are also really good. Cleo Ramalho on Wishing Light.
Yeah, the Wishing Light is my other favorite song from this. And I really liked the really aggressive performance that he gave there.
Yes. I really like it as well. Echoes of Destiny has Maria Angelo. It's also a cool track, but it's different style. I like it, but I prefer the first two. Personally,
those are definitely my favorite.
Yeah, it's more our style, but this is still good. Like, it's like when we talk about Fellowship. For me, there's a grading curve, but everything is so high up that it doesn't matter much. And Faded Horizon with Casio Marcos on vocals, that's the most Tangra of all the songs, like by a lot. It's like almost. Like you hear the inspiration a bit too much, but it's just so good, so well done. I love it, and I'm happy that he got to make this. I'm pretty sure he would have liked to do a full album with like 10 songs, but I like that it's just 5 songs that are very well done. That with a lot of people, it's a lot of work to do this, when each song has a completely different band except for the drummer.
Yeah, from just like a production standpoint, managing all the different people for this seems like it'd be a friggin' nightmare.
Yeah, but that's the cool thing about the internet and the age where we're at. Like, Willian has his own studio, so he records all the drums there. You should check out his YouTube channel since you're at it, because he has a lot of drumming videos, or follow him on Instagram. Willian Amorim. Always doing covers or fragments of things, or uploading his practices or snippets of songs he's working on. And he has the talent to pull off all of this off. And that's our exclusive review, because we had the album earlier, because we are cool like that.
Mm-hmm. It's a bit unfortunate that this album is coming out on February 28th.
Yes.
Because there's a fuck ton of power metal come out on February 28th. So I'm glad we're kind of, I guess, spacing those releases a little bit out on the podcast.
If you listen, hopefully you're listening to this before February 28th, and you can now choose to listen to this album first. It's shorter than all the other ones.
Yeah, get in quick. Just, slip it in there. And remember, it's Willian with an N and not an M at the end, which I've never seen someone named Willian. So
that's the
world. I had this
world.
written down incorrectly for a long time.
Names sometimes are spelled different around the world. It
doesn't help that he looks a lot like a friend of mine who is named William. so it really makes a bit of a connection there.
Yeah, but
anyway,
have you seen before, like, this is like, again, this is a drummer that's the main person pulling friends to be on his album. It's not very usual. That's another
interesting point. Yeah, it's usually like when there's a quote-unquote solo album with, just some fucker's name on the top.
Yeah.
It's usually the singer or the, guitarist, maybe keyboard, if they're the main, driving creative force behind it. The drummers usually just kind of feel like, your buddy that you slotted in because you needed a drummer. Mm-hmm. So it's cool to see that he's able to jump in there and get his name out there.
He also does backing vocals on the songs. And I know he can play guitar and bass if he wanted to. But obviously, you're better off getting the best people on all of the roles to get the best product. And if more cycle just right next to me.
He wrote the best songs on the album too, so hey.
Yeah, which is all of them except one. Which is, and again, it's pretty cool. Listen to it, Willian Amorim. I think I saw recently some talk around about the new. It seems to be a trend that we're getting a lot of artists that are like persons something of something. Like we used to have only Tobias Sammet's Avantasia, but now we have Fabio
And Arjen
Leones,
Lucasen's Arion.
and Arjen Anthony Lucasen's Arion. Now we have Fabio Leones, Dawn of Victory. And I think there's other like smaller bands, smaller groups or artists that are
Like
mostly solo artists.
Jason Ashcraft is
Jason Ashcraft
made that switch.
Yeah. And it's like Willian could have had that. It's just his name, Willian Amorim. So it's like a solo artist. But I could see like the Willian Amorim's Drum Fire of Destiny or something. Like, but the Elven Curse, check it out. That's
Do you have any idea
thing.
why he called it the Elven Curse?
I have no idea. I'm
Excellent.
not that person. We can ask him later. You can ask him. Go ask on his Instagram. Drive the socials. Not you, the listeners. You can figure it out later.
Okay.
I don't know, man. It's good stuff. I recommend. And that's it. We recommend cool stuff for you to listen to. And
yeah, everything we've talked about on the old podcast here today, give it a spin. You'll have a good time, probably.
Yeah, most likely. Like, even when we say we don't like stuff, it probably still worth checking out, unless we like actually explicitly tell you to skip it, which I don't think has happened.
Yeah, I think it's rare for us to say explicitly, don't listen to this. Give it at least a shot.
Yeah, we wouldn't even bring it up, probably, in the show.
That's the other thing. Like, if I listen to something and just like flat out don't like it, I usually have nothing to say about it other than that I don't like it, and I kind of feel bad just putting like that negative, hater energy out there. Call me weak if you will, but I think it's usually less of what I'm inclined to talk about on the podcast.
Yeah, maybe we did say that about Nightwish, though.
Well, at least that's fun.
Life happens
to dunk on.
Yeah.
Whereas like when it's just some fucking dude.
Yeah,
No. It doesn't feel right to dunk on that as much as it is with with Nightwish or whatever. It's punching down versus punching up or whatever.
Exactly. Eat the rich or something.
Exactly. Eat to a muscle of it. I don't know if I'm going to say his last name.
That's it. That's the show. For February.
This has been a spicy episode of Powerful, as we've learned here today. Hope you guys had a good time and got to check out some good music.
Yes, exactly. Check out the good music. Check out the maybe not as good, but maybe you don't know. So check it out first, and then you decide and tell us.
The next episode should be a pretty special one, I think, if the schedule lines up the way that we want it to.
Yeah, the schedule seems to be like we're going to have a very special episode, and then after that, a little gap and a travel log, because I think the dates will line up like that. Because March...
Yeah, March we're going to do the thing, and then in April is Epic Fest. Yeah.
Epic Fest. And Epic Fest is on the first week of the month. But...
I don't know when we're going to talk about these other mountain of releases that's coming out the end of February.
Yeah, so all those
we
releases...
might have to do an extra episode.
Yeah,
here.
we'll see. We'll see. Maybe we can pull a double some night or something. Like
extra content.
Yeah, we can probably squeeze one. I'm not promising it now, but maybe. Who knows? Anyways, let's finish the show. I hope you enjoyed it, and subscribe. Kyle doesn't
Thank
like
you
me
to
saying
our
that.
Patreon subscribers.
Yes.
Beautiful people.
Yeah, get to the Patreon if you like us, if you would like us to continue. We'll continue doing it anyways. But you don't have to. That's the truth. We'll still do it. But it would be nice.
That's true.
Not because we strictly need it, but because, it's nice. Just
exactly.
Dollarino there. And that's it. Stay powerful.
Stay powerful.